Hello and welcome to another episode of Steven Talks. Like I said, this is going to be a new series, so I hope you guys like it. Today I'm going to talk about the vast world of Hanna Barbera films. This actually came to me as I was um, when the Smurfs came out last year, which I'm actually, you can see, I'm wearing a Smurf shirt. So the reason that it came to me about the reason. Maybe I should tell you what came to me first. What came to me was the fact that I'm such a, or I don't really know what I want to say here. What I want to say is that I'm a huge fan of Hanna Barbera. I'm like a huge fan of Hanna Barbera, and I've actually seen almost every Hanna Barbera film since 1990 in the theater. So that would go through from Jetsons the movie all the way through the Smurfs. I have seen almost all of them in the theater. I think the only one I did not see in the theater was Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, but we will get to everything in a moment. I'm going to start with A Man Called Flintstone, which was a 1966 film, I believe. I could be wrong on the year. It was the first theatrical film for the Flintstones. I own this movie. The movie's awful. I haven't seen it in a really long time, but if I remember correctly, it was a movie about a secret agent that looked like Fred Flintstone. And the only thing I can really remember from the movie was there's a musical number in it, and it was terrible. So, like I said, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I can't really talk too much about it, but it was really boring from what I remember, and it wasn't the Flintstones. It just wasn't all that good. I'm probably gonna skip over a lot of Hanna Barbera movies. I'm not gonna talk about every direct-to-video movie because that would take forever, but I'm gonna talk about certain ones. After A Man Called Flintstone, I guess the next one to talk about would be uh, probably the Scooby-Doo movies in the 80s, like Scooby-Doo Meets the Boo Brothers, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, which is one of my favorite Scooby-Doo movies, and Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Those were in the late 80s. They were entertaining because mainly because the Reluctant Werewolf one was really cool because they had um God, I'm having this is bad. They had the Universal Monster Universal Monsters basically. So they had Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, etc. And it was about Shaggy being turned into a werewolf simply because the werewolf in the monster world was sick or something, and he had to race his car in this like monster race with all these like monster characters. So that was pretty cool. And then those characters came back. At least some of them came back in Ghoul School, where Shaggy and Scooby are at a school for ghouls, and their children, the monsters' children, are basically like the students and shit. So, actually, going back a little bit, in the 80s, in the mid 80s, the Jetsons came back. I don't really know the reasoning. I guess maybe they had rerun the Jetsons. See, the thing about the Jetsons that no one really seems to know is that the Jetsons was only on for one season. It started in '62. No, yeah, '62, I think, and it ran for one season. It was like the polar opposite of the Flintstones. Flintstones was prehistory, and the Jetsons was the future. So it didn't do well, I guess, and they didn't continue on. But for some reason, in the mid '80s, they decided to revive the show. Um, it may be the only case of a show being revived after like 20 years. And having the original cast, which I thought was pretty awesome. And the '80s Jetsons did much better. I remember watching the Jetsons when I was a kid. I was pretty young when the Jetsons came back on, like two maybe, but it did pretty well. And then they did one direct-to-video movie called Rockin' with Judy Jetson, which I had never seen until earlier this year when Warner Archive actually released it through their like made-on-demand thing. So I bought it, and it actually was a pretty good movie. It was a full hour and a half, which nowadays, like the Warner Brothers, Hanna Barbera movies, direct to video movies, are usually like an hour, 15 minutes maybe. But this was a full hour and a half, and it was actually a pretty good movie about some character who I cannot remember the name. Sorry, it was a female villain who hates music and wants to like abolish all music. And they were only saw it once, so I can't remember everything. I just remember that character and Judy and whoever the rock star was in that movie had to like fight against her and shit. But that was actually pretty good. And then they did the Flintstones Meet the Jetsons, which is one of my very favorite Hanna Barbera direct to video movies or whatever. And that might have been a TV movie, I can't remember. But that was when they brought the Flintstones and the Jetsons together, where Elroy makes a time machine and he goes back in time to the Flintstones time, and then hilarity ensues. There was the Flintstones ended up going back into the future, and the Jetsons are stuck in the past, and they like the past better, and the Flintstones like the future, but then everything kind of gets mixed up, and they don't like it, and they want to go back and forth, and it's really good. I like it so much because I really like time travel movies, and I guess it wasn't really I think that was actually the last movie that Dawes Butler did the voice of Elroy. I could be wrong, but I think it is, because then a couple years later, the Jetsons the movie came out, which was I could be wrong, but I think that was the second Hanna-Barbera movie to be a theatrical release. The Man Called Flintstone being the other one. And Jetsons the movie was like, I don't know the backstory behind it. I don't really know why they made the movie, because the Jetsons, the second generation of the Jetsons that was on in the 80s, had been off the air, I think, for 3 years before Jetsons the movie came out. So Jetsons the movie is a pretty fucking terrible movie. I mean, I like the Jetsons, I like Hanna-Barbera, but it just wasn't good. It was a movie about Mr. Spacely opening a Sprockets thing on the moon, and he is basically, I think it's the moon. It could be just another planet, but I'm pretty sure it was the moon. They are digging into the core of the planet or the moon or whatever, and they're disrupting these their creatures that live there, and they don't know that until towards the end of the movie. But the planet, the sprocket place keeps malfunctioning, and they get George Jetson to try and revive it, and it doesn't work. I don't know what it was about the movie, but it just, I don't know, it didn't seem like a Jetsons movie. And, maybe this made sense in 1990, but they replaced Janet Waldo, who had done the voice of Judy Jetson forever, and replaced her with Tiffany, which, again, like I said, it may have made sense in the 90s, or in the early 90s, 1990, but it comes off as being very forced now, and maybe it did then too. I don't know. I was only 6 when the movie came out, but it just seems like, hey, we have a pop star. Let's put her in the movie. It would have been fine for her to have done the singing part of Judy, but it really makes me angry. As a fan of Hanna-Barbera and a fan of the Jetsons, I think it was fucking stupid to replace a main cast member with a pop star. I mean, they could have just replaced all the actors with big name actors, big name stars and shit, if they were just going to do that. Fuck Mel Blanc. Let's get Danny DeVito to do the voice, because he's a star. Speaking of Mel Blanc, that was actually, I don't know if it was his last movie, but he died before the movie came out, and so did George O'Hanlon, who did the voice of George Jetson. They both died before the movie came out, and Dawes Butler was already dead. Patrick Zimmerman, I believe, did the voice of Elroy. And you can tell, but it's not that bad. It's actually a pretty good rendition. Another thing about Janet Waldo was they actually had her record the entire part and then replaced her with Tiffany. And who the hell remembers Tiffany anymore? Nobody. So after the Jetsons the movie, I don't think there has been another animated Hanna-Barbera theatrical film. Whoever says Tom and Jerry the movie, that was not Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera may have made the movie, but I don't know if they did or not. But Tom and Jerry was not Hanna-Barbera to begin with. So there, fuck you. So I guess the next movie after that was Flintstones, the live-action Flintstones, which as a kid I really liked. I was 10. It was an awesome movie to go see. As an adult, not so much fun anymore. I mean, it's kind of goofy. But I'm going to be honest with you. I like almost every Hanna-Barbera live-action film. I do. Maybe they're guilty pleasures or whatever, but I can see why people don't like Flintstones. It's, a lot of stuff in it feels forced. A lot of stuff is overdone, like the rock metaphors. I don't know. I don't know. It seems kind of goofy. So, after Flintstones, what the hell fucking came out? I don't know if there was another Hanna-Barbera movie until... Well, we can talk about the Scooby-Doo revival. After A Pup Named Scooby-Doo ended in 91, there wasn't another... Scooby-Doo just kind of disappeared. I mean, at that point, Scooby-Doo had not been off the air. From 1969 until 91, that show was constantly on. Regardless, I mean, I'm not talking about the original show, but some incarnation of that character was always on. And Don Messick did the voice every single time until he died in 97, I think. And that was unfortunate because Scooby-Doo is my favorite Hanna-Barbera character. He's actually my favorite cartoon character. And I will buy and watch anything that's Scooby-Doo. So they came out with Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island in 98, which was right after Don Messick died. And they replaced Casey Kasem with Billy West. And believe it or not, the movie was really good. For the first movie without Don Messick and Casey Kasem, the movie was really, 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 really good. And then since 98, I'm not even sure if there's been a year where there hasn't been a Scooby-Doo direct-to-video movie. And I'm not going to talk about all of them because they'll take forever. But I have a Scooby-Doo video. You guys can watch it. It's a couple of years old now, so it's not 100% up to date, but take a look at it. It's not that bad. It's actually one of my most viewed videos. Thank you very much, everyone. But yeah, those were really good. And because of those movies, What's New Scooby-Doo, which was a 2002 series, which was the first series in 11 years, that's the reason that show got made, was because of the direct-to-video movies, and it was a really good series. So Scooby-Doo is its own thing now. I'll get to those movies in a moment, but let's talk about Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. I think that was the next live-action Hanna-Barbera movie. If there was one that I'm missing, I'm sorry, because I honestly can't think of anything between Flintstones and the prequel. Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas was a prequel. It was made because John Goodman did not want to do the Flintstones again. Had he wanted to do it, it probably would have been a sequel. The movie is awful, poorly cast. Poorly cast. The guy who played Fred, Kristen Johnston from Third Rock from the Sun, played Wilma. Terrible. Not only is she just ugly, but she's an awful actress. Just awful. Stephen Baldwin as Barney was okay. I will admit that I hate Stephen Baldwin, but he actually did an okay job as Barney. And then you had Jane Krakowski as Betty, which again, that wasn't too bad. But the movie again was like forced. More of those stupid rock metaphors. Poor casting. And the story was about how Fred and Wilma met and Betty and Barney. On the TV show, they met at a, if I remember correctly, it's been a while. I think they met at a drive-in on the show. In this, they may have met there. I think they did. It's been so long since I've seen this movie. Um, but I think in the original Flintstones movie, Fred says that they met at a at some kind of carnival at an all-you-can-eat, and Wilma was there to wipe his mouth off or something. I think they say that in the movie, which just leads me to believe that they they don't even watch the fucking first movie before they do anything. So, and then of course Rosie O'Donnell has got to make her little fucking cameo as a voice of one of the appliances. It's like, fuck you, Rosie O'Donnell. You were awful. You've basically ruined the first movie. One fucking reason you got the job was because you could sound like Betty's laugh. Fuck you. I fucking hate you, Rosie O'Donnell. So next up is Scooby-Doo. No, next up is Josie and the Pussycats. I include this because it's not technically a Hanna-Barbera film, because Josie and the Pussycats was a spin-off of an Archie comic that was then made into a TV show by Hanna-Barbera. But I think the movie is technically a comic book adaptation. But this is a very underrated movie. It's a funny movie, funny cast. Tara Reid's in it. Fucking hate her, but she's actually not that bad in the movie. Alan Cumming's in it. I fucking love Alan Cumming, who was also in Viva Rock Vegas. Um, the movie's funny, and the movie actually has a pretty fucking awesome soundtrack. So if you've never seen the movie, go see it. It's probably, if you want to count it as a Hanna-Barbera movie, it's probably my second favorite. Because my first favorite, Scooby-Doo. When the Scooby-Doo movie came out, I was fucking excited as shit because I was like, yes, my favorite Hanna-Barbera character in the live-action movie. And the movie is great. The movie is really, really fun. Um, Very well cast. As much as I don't like Freddie Prinze Jr., he does a really good job as Fred. I like Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne. Linda Cardellini, I think is, I don't know how to say her last name. She's Velma. Matthew Lillard is a genius as Shaggy, and he's actually doing the voice of Shaggy now that Casey Kasem's retired. So that's really cool. And then I can't remember who does the voice. Oh, Scott Ines does the voice of Scooby-Doo. I fucking just blank there. The movie's really fun. It's pretty much a Scooby-Doo episode. I mean, it's just a long Scooby-Doo episode. And so is the sequel. The sequel's actually more fun because they reference the TV show a lot. All the monsters in the second one are from the TV show, and that's really cool. I think that's kind of fun. I wish they'd made another one, but Scooby-Doo 2, I think it did well, but it didn't do as well as the first one, so I think they probably thought it was a good idea not to continue on. And they're probably right. The third one probably would have been terrible, but I guess the actors didn't want to do it. Alright, next up we have, I think, Yogi Bear. That was a big gap between Scooby-Doo 2 and Yogi Bear. For live action theatrical movies, anyway. Because that was 6-year gap. So I didn't want to see Yogi Bear. It looked terrible from the movie. I mean, from the preview. And here's my story about this. I went to see it because Dan Aykroyd was coming to my town the week or the day. Yeah, it was the day it premiered. He came to a theater in my town, and he was doing a meet and greet. And I was like, "Fuck, I want to meet Dan Aykroyd. He's fucking Dan Aykroyd." So we went, got the day off from work the week before Christmas. Got the day off from work, went to the theater, and they cut off the line. And I got really pissed. Like, really, I'm not usually one to voice to go to a place where, like a retail place or somewhere where like people work and it's not like a real job, like a movie theater or a fucking retail store or something. I'm not one to go there and be like, you know what, fuck you, I hate you guys. But I was pissed. I took the day off from work. I had to beg to get that day off from work. Bought tickets to this terrible movie, and I didn't even get. And what I was pissed off is that they didn't state on the website what when he would be shooting or when he'd be signing and how long and so on. So I had gone there earlier that year for a Back to the Future screening where 4 people from the movie were there, and I stood in line for an hour and a half. he signed autographs for half an hour. I mean, and whatever. So anyway, I complained, I bitched and moaned, and what was kind of cool though is I didn't get to meet him, but we were standing off to the side because I bought tickets to the movie. I was gonna go see the fucking movie, and plus this place serves like an actual dinner, so I love the food, so it was worth staying there for anyway. Um, as Dan Aykroyd was, because they were walking him away to do an introduction for the movie, um, I kind of threw my hand up like this, and I was like, Dan, and he like high fived me, held onto my hand for a second, and then left, and I was like, that was kind of cool. So I didn't get to meet him, but because I bitched to the theater enough, I actually got an autograph. My friend's boyfriend actually went and got my Ghostbusters Blu-ray signed, which is now signed by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. That's a different story I'll tell later. Okay, so Yogi Bear. Awful. Just awful. Uh, the worst Hanna Barbera movie, and that includes Viva Rock Vegas. Just the worst. Um, I, it's predictable. It's not funny. It's stupid. Dan Aykroyd is not that bad as Yogi Bear, but I will tell you this much: Justin Timberlake was cast as Boo Boo. He does almost a flawless rendition. Like Don Messick did the voice of Boo Boo, and I could not believe the how close it was to Don Messick's performance. So, uh, Justin Timberlake moved up in my book after that movie. Um, and then most recently we have the Smurfs, which it had its moments. I actually wrote a review. So if you go to my blog, you can actually read the review. Um, it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. It shied away from the bathroom humor, which for the most part, which is something that kids movies do so fucking much now. It's just like, oh, fart jokes, ooh, there's a toilet, it's just like, like, I'm not saying that didn't happen when I was a kid. Before, I mean, seriously, when I watch the movies that I watched as a kid, it seems like those jokes are very minimal. Now it's just like, hey, let's just make bathroom jokes all the time. So it wasn't nearly as bad as some people said it was. It had its moments, but for the most part, it was pretty good. It takes place in the real world, and I think that's done wisely because I can't see that movie taking place in the Smurf village or something. So, and Hank Azaria plays Gargamel, and he's fucking hilarious. Like, um, next to Scooby Doo, I'd say the Smurfs is probably my second favorite Hanna Barbera cartoon. So, uh, it was fun to see the movie. I think they're making a sequel. We'll see if they can recreate that because I really liked the first one. So. I also I want to mention really quickly that they did make more Scooby-Doo live-action movies. They did Mystery Begins and Curse of the Lake Monster, which were prequels with a different cast, with a younger cast, and I actually liked that movie. The one thing I want to point out is when that movie, the first one, came out, a lot of people were bitching and moaning because the girl that they cast to play Velma is Asian, and um, I was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird. She didn't look Asian in the cartoon, but I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh no. But the girl, I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but she did a pretty damn good job. So fuck it, I don't give a shit if she's Asian. She could be purple for all I give a fuck. If she can do the job correctly, then who fucking cares? So, Hanna Barbera movies. Um, Is there a Hanna-Barbera TV show that I would like to see produced? Yes. I want to see a live-action Jetsons movie. I have been saying this since I saw the Flintstones in '94. Um, I, they have the technology to do it now and to do it very realistically. Um, I used to have a really good cast in mind. It was George Jetson and Annette Bening as George. Did I just say George Jetson? Steve Martin and Annette Bening as George and Jane Jetson. And of course, I'm sure everyone thinks this, Danny DeVito as Mr. Spacely. They have to make this movie, and they have to make it before Danny DeVito dies because he is Mr. Spacely. Period. So, Will they ever make it? I hope so. I've heard Robert Rodriguez has been trying to get the movie made for a while. I want to see a live action Jetsons movie. Other than that, I can't really think of any other Hanna Barbera TV shows to be produced. I mean, you can't really have fucking Huckleberry Hound or Snagglepuss uh, as a movie. I mean, I can't see that. But yeah, I think I remember. Oh, wait a minute. Was there a Kung Fu Fooey? Is that there was some Hanna Barbera series that was made into a movie, and I thought it was Hong Kong Fooey. That I said Kung Fu Fooey, Hong Kong Fooey. That I think that was made into a movie in like Mexico or something. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, time's running pretty fucking long, so thanks everyone again for watching. I hope my rambling in this video doesn't deter you from any other future episodes. So thanks for watching.